You can't think your way out of a bad habit. Information doesn't break habits. That's not how people change. I'm speaking from my own experience here. I do bad things where I know the consequences of what I'm doing, and I still keep doing them anyway. We all do it. Why do we do that? Well, our bad habits bring us certainty, and our certainty brings us comfort. So why would we want to stop doing something that makes us comfortable? Also, changing hurts. Breaking habits is uncomfortable, especially when considering that your bad habits bring you some sort of pleasure, because otherwise, why would you be doing them in the first place? So, when you drop a bad habit, you lose that sense of comfort or pleasure, and inevitably, there's now a void that the old habit used to fill that now needs to be replaced. So all of this sucks, and it sucks directly in proportion to how much comfort or pleasure your bad habits bring you. This applies really to any sort of addiction. Drug addiction, weed, nicotine, alcohol, those are the ones that people typically think of. But then there's the bad habits or addictions that are much more common. Some people don't even think of them as addictions because of how common they are. Maybe you can't stop eating junk food or fast food. Maybe you can't stop scrolling on social media. Maybe you use your phone too much. Maybe you play too many video games. Maybe you can't stop gambling or sports betting. Maybe you can't stop shopping or buying things. There's endless examples, right? But these bad habits I mentioned are bad habits that a lot of people struggle with. I've struggled with many of these myself. And they can also be really destructive when they start getting out of hand. But we keep doing them anyway. Why? Well, the simple answer is they give us something. We get something out of these habits that is valuable enough to where our minds tell us that the pros exceed the cons. The pleasure exceeds the pain. And those are the two players that really matter the most here. Pleasure and pain. Pleasure and pain are the two players that create motivation. And information is never powerful enough to quit something. You always need motivation and discipline. But you can't even start unless there's some sort of motivation rooted in pleasure or pain. To prove this, let's ask ourselves, when do people change? Well, some people may never quit their bad habits, let me be clear. But there are situations which most people decide it's probably time to quit. The guy with obesity gives up snacks and fast food when his weight starts to become life-threatening. The cigarette smoker quits when his wife threatens to leave him. The gambler stops betting when he can't pay his rent anymore and becomes homeless. The girl who becomes depressed or highly anxious because of social media use decides to cut down her screen time. What do these have in common? The pain exceeds the pleasure. There's so much pain that the pain literally becomes life-ruining or life-threatening. So most people decide it's time to quit. I won't live another day like this. This has to change now. The motivational speaker Tony Robbins words this idea nicely in his great book, Awaken the Giant Within. He says, the only way we're going to make a change now is if we create a sense of urgency that's so intense that we're compelled to follow through. This is what he calls reaching a pain threshold, which means experiencing pain at such an intense level that you know you must change right away. And the sad truth is, many people wait until they reach their pain threshold to quit, when they've hit rock bottom. When someone says, I can quit later, it's because they don't see enough pain in what they're doing now that would motivate them to quit today. The pleasure still exceeds the pain. My shopping addiction or my gambling habit or my drinking problem can create problems down the road, but I still get enough pleasure from these things today to where I'll wait to quit them tomorrow. I'm too comfortable. My girlfriend or my wife hasn't threatened to leave me. I haven't been diagnosed with any medical condition, and I'm not anxious or depressed enough to quit now. So I'll quit later. This is the story we tell ourselves in our head. But there's good news in this. The good news is that we are all capable of quitting our bad habits now. I mean, we all knew that anyway, right? I can quit anytime. But being capable is not enough. If we want to quit today, there needs to be enough motivation. If we want to quit today, we need to associate enough pain with our bad habits that we become motivated enough to quit them now, before reality teaches us how bad our bad habits really are. Because that's really the two options that we have. Pain is the only thing strong enough to change our bad habits. So then, we're really left with two options. We can either create enough pain on the inside to quit today, or wait for the world to create enough pain for us on the outside to quit later. Again, Tony Robbins words it very nicely. He says, change requires more than just establishing the knowledge that you should change. It's knowing at the deepest emotional and most basic sensory level that you must change. He also says, if you've tried many times to make a change and you've failed to do so, this simply means that the level of pain for failing to change is not intense enough. That's really the lesson I wanted to cover today. And listen, nobody's going to be perfect with this. I have bad habits just like everybody else, and like many other people, there's some bad habits where, in my mind, the pleasure still exceeds the pain, and so I've yet to quit them. But it's not about being perfect. It never is about being perfect. It's about improving little by little each day. And we live in an information age where there's so many things that we want to do, so many things that we're told we should do, which is why now, more than ever, cutting the things we shouldn't be doing is more important than ever. If we use pain to motivate ourselves to stop doing the things that no longer serve us, then we're one step closer to becoming the person we want to be. Thank you for watching.